everybody, I'm Merisu the Art Sheep, and thank you so much for checking out this video. And today I'm drawing Kazuho Haneyama. Hopefully I pronounced that last name right. Probably not. AKA Pop Step from the anime My Hero Academia Vigilantes, which is a spin-off series of the regular My Hero Academia. And this has also been pretty much the only anime I've been watching that's new, and I was watching as it aired. Been watching a few other animes that are current year, but I haven't been watching them as they aired. And even with this, I would watch a few episodes and I'm gonna get like a couple episodes behind, and then I would catch up, and then I would have to wait for the next new episodes to come up, and then I ended up getting up behind again, and then I could catch up, and then I had to wait for the next episodes, and that's pretty much how it went. I actually didn't finish the last episode until yesterday, although partly because I wanted to watch it when I finished the Speedpaint. I actually wanted to get the Speedpaint out when the series ended, so it would be more relevant, but it just didn't happen, because, like I said, in my Shinobu Kocho drawing, it ended up getting a little bit delayed because I just kind of got stuck on it. I couldn't think my way through, so I decided to take a break. That's always the best thing to do when you're just unsure of where to go to next on the drawings. Just close it up and work on something else, because you will save yourself so much time and so much trouble if you just do that. And that's what I do. And yeah, I'm glad I waited, because for the most part I'm very happy with how this drawing turned out. I'm not really good at these more dynamic perspectives where they look like totally upright, like a bird's eye or a worm's eye view. No, bird's eye, yeah, bird's eye view. I'm just not good at it. I'm also not that good at city architecture. That's one reason why I've been so slow with Revolution Full Color, is because just working on it, I look at it and realize I suck at it. And the funniest thing is, though, is that when I do actually look back at chapter 1, it's like, yeah, the architecture sucks, but I'm happy that I did. Like, I'm actually proud of myself. But nonetheless, it still is a fear of mine. Architecture and perspectives, they're my worst nightmare. They hate me, even though I don't even know them. They hate me. Also, if you didn't notice, because it did go by pretty fast in a flash, I added Koichi in the corner because I realized that the drawing that I made, I didn't want to cut off any more of it. I didn't want to shrink the canvas because I didn't want to, I already had like Pop Step already planned out on where she would be, but it looked kind of empty, so I decided to add Koichi in the corner. Looking up and admiring her singing, because that would be nice. I just thought it was nice. It definitely made the drawing look more interesting. In the end, I'm not even sure why I was trying so hard to get this out when the anime was airing, so it could be relevant, I guess. But I guess it didn't matter, because nobody I saw was talking about it. Like, I'm pretty active on Twitter. I mean, I'm not like a freak, but I do like pay attention to things and take a look around and see what people are talking about, and no one I knew was talking about it. I never even saw this really like go trendy on like line. Like, I didn't see any posts appear in my feed or anything. Like, I didn't even see any articles like pop up, and I know my phone's listening to me, but yet no, nothing. I just hadn't seen it. This anime kind of went under the radar, which is a shame, because I did enjoy it, and I do think it was good. It actually has slightly better animation than My Hero Academia, but at the same time, it does have less action in it. Like, for season 7 of My Hero Academia, there was a lot of action, but I don't like to criticize animation too much, because I always appreciate when people are doing 2D animation, and I always just like it and enjoy it, so I like to not give too much like negative reviews on that stuff. But at the same time, if I am gonna be honest, the animation was pretty bad in season 7 at some points. Like, there was the end of the Todoroki fight, and I won't give out spoilers to that, but there was a big fight involving the Todoroki, and I just say that, like you're supposed to know what that means. There was a fight involving Todoroki, and the aftermath, the animation looked absolutely horrible. In fact, there were some scenes even during the fight where it looked like I was looking at it, it was just like, what is this? What is this? I have no idea what this is. This is not good. But hopefully they fix it in the Blu-rays. A lot of animes do that, so I'm going to assume that I'm going to go for thinking that they will fix it. And even if then, it's not like it was the worst, but it could have been better. Meanwhile, this anime, it also had a slightly different style too. There was a lot more thicker, bold lines and very thick, almost like oily or buttery highlights, if that makes sense. It definitely looked nice. It was a little off-putting at first because it did look different, so I'm seeing the same characters like Shoto Azawa because he appears in it, and Midnight, and they look kind of different. But it did look, it grew on me, and I actually really do like it. And it was a very nice show, and like I said, it just kind of went over the radar. The only thing that I noticed people were talking about is that a lot of people were complaining, somewhat rightfully so, that Pops, that they added tights to her outfit, because originally she just wears the leotard and skirt, and the skirt's very short. So very revealing and such. But so people complained about that. Because they didn't like censorship, which makes sense. I don't like censorship either, and no matter what you do, it still doesn't change the fact that her original design did have the tights. But at the same time, it's like, whatever. I'm gonna get chewed out for whatever I say, so I'm just not gonna talk about that. Let's talk about the drawing. So I was actually originally going to go for more sunny, midday lighting where everything would look, like, the sky be blue, and so everything would be more in its natural colors, but I decided that it would just be better for me to go for a sunset-y kind of vibe, so which is why I even had to put a gradient map over Koichi, because I did use more neutral colors for him, and by neutral I mean, the base colors of what it would look like in midday. There was no sunset colors. I didn't adjust anything for the sunset, so I used the gradient map to kind of get around with it. I don't use gradient maps that much because for the longest time I just didn't know how to use them because I was stupid. And then I think I've gotten pretty good at using them now, and by pretty good I mean I can at least turn them on and adjust them. I'm not an expert at them by any means, so please do not ask me at all. It's just like, it's not something I specialize in, but I have been getting a little better in it, so I wanted to try. And I figured it would be better than completely recoloring him again, because there wasn't no way I was doing that. No way. And then for the main gal, Pop Step, I used very thick lines, but I did kind of give it a little bit of a smooth edge. So I put my G pen. I used my G pen because I didn't want anything textured. I tried several different brushes out, and in the end, the G pen was the one that I figured would do the best job at what I wanted, but I put the softness all the way down to, like, the lowest one, so that way there wouldn't be anything sharp about it. It would look smooth, but not sharp, because that is definitely what I was going for, and don't pay attention to those hard signs and make them in the wrong direction. I had to fix them. It is funny though, because despite the hangups that I did have with this drawing, I finished Pop Step all in one day. Like the line art, well, not all in one day because the sketch was already done previously from quite a bit. In fact, if you look at the bottom of my screen in the bottom right corner, you can actually see the dates of when I was working on this drawing. So I actually finished the sketch quite a bit earlier, but the line art and the coloring I did pretty much all in just 2 days, and I could have probably got it all in 1 day, but I kind of got a late start, and plus I was kind of a lot more busier the last day than I thought I would be. So there was that, but for the most part I think I did pretty good, and I ended up giving her bows instead of ribbons, so I had to fix that. I made quite a bit of mistakes with her outfit that I had to go back and fix. Like, I totally forgot her, like, her bat wings on the back of her outfit because it was just, like, it was not in my brain. I actually kind of like how her, costume looks more kind of gothic-like, and she herself isn't very like it. I like Popstep's character. I think she's fun. Relatable for someone like me, someone who's got, confidence issues, and so she's trying to, for lack of better words, step out, pun not intended, and, put herself out there and be what she always wanted to be. And apparently that's someone who can sing and someone who's more confident. And so, yeah, I mean, I can relate to that. Although I wouldn't wear this outfit, not in a million years. Even if I was Finn, I wouldn't wear it. It just wouldn't do good. And yes, I'm sorry to disappoint folks. I did give her the tights because I didn't really want to draw it without the tights. That's just not me. I'm sorry. And also, I think the tights are cute. I like the tights. To me, I just like it. So, there. My drawing, I can do whatever I want. Also, as you can see, there's me fixing the hearts, because like I said, they were totally, going the opposite direction. I forget when I noticed that, actually. I think it was around... Yeah, I don't know. I forget when I was noticing that. Towards the end, I started watching the movie, Hush Hush Sweet Charlotte. Like, that's the last thing I was doing as I was finishing up this drawing. That's a horror movie from the 1960s, or is it the late... Or see, I forget the date. I just watched it yesterday. It's one of my favorite movies, although I love all movies with Bette Davis. I ended up watching it, and it's supposed to be a horror movie from the, it's either the late 50s or early 60s. And, yeah, there's some scenes in it that are kind of creepy, but I find it more sad. If you haven't seen that movie, you should totally watch it. It's free on YouTube right now, so, yeah, definitely recommended. But we're not talking about Hush Hush with Charlotte. We're talking about, Vigilantes, and I think I said everything I wanted to say about the drawing, so let me think if there's anything more that I want to talk about the anime. I would say probably the biggest problem that I have with the anime is that sometimes I feel like it goes a little too hard with the references. Not really, when it's just doing Koichi, Popstep, and Knuckles. Wait, that's not his name, is it? I forgot all these characters' names. Like, I actually had to remind myself what Popstep's name is, because they hardly ever call her that. Koichi's name I remembered, but I forgot the other guy's name entirely. It's almost like he wasn't memorable, but he was. I mean, I liked his character and stuff, but I forgot his name. But anyway, with moments when it's just them, it's like fine, everything's like really nice and stuff, but when you start adding in the characters for the original series, it's kind of like, especially because I know that this wasn't, like, I don't know how much Horikoshi was involved with this, because obviously it's not written by Horikoshi, but obviously he must have had to sign off of things and help coordinate the information and stuff. Like, there's just one character who appears in season 2, who's also in this, and it was just like, okay, that kind of seems weird, it kind of seems almost like fanfiction, but at the same time, like I said, Horikoshi must have coordinated with the author of this, so that way they could get the facts consistent and stay like canon and all that jazz, or whatever you want to say. I don't know the word I'm looking for. I did like the villain, although the villain's quirk, Kuene, I think was her name. I didn't get how the quirk worked. It was very out there. That's the one minor problem I have with My Hero Academia is sometimes, like, everyone's only allowed one quirk, but some people's quirks just seem so out there. And I'm not even talking about Shoto Todoroki's. Like, Shoto Todoroki's, some people think it looks like too because it's, he can use both fire and ice. But to me, that makes sense perfectly. My brother always explains. Every time I bring up Shoto Todoroki, he always explains it in the most boringest way. He's just like, oh, it's temperature control. And I'm like, you are being way too anal about this. I showed him My Hero Academia and he just didn't want to watch it. He I think if he was in a better mood, he would have probably finished it. Definitely if he was younger, he would have liked it more, but he could not get past season 2. He was just he lost interest and he did not want to finish it. And later on, I started having problems with My Hero Academia. For the most part, I still do like the series, but I did have problems with the ending. Not because of how it ended, it was just the execution of certain things. I think it could have been better, so it was if I'm having these issues with it, I can't really recommend it to him anymore, so I just don't bother. But he always explained Shoujo's powers in the weirdest way, but there's some characters' powers that's just how is this one superpower? It doesn't make sense. And in the case of the, I don't want to give spoilers in case you haven't seen it, but there's just something going on with the main villain, and it's just okay, it really makes you try to think on how this quirk works, and I just couldn't think of it. And I looked on the wiki because I already knew how the show was going to end. For the most part, I remained spoiler free, but I did end up spoiling it toward once it started coming out because I was looking up for some information, and then it all kind of came to me. It was completely ignored it. Could have gone this show completely spoiler free, but then I looked up something. That happened with Persona 5. I looked up something, I wasn't even trying to spoil it, and I ended up spoiling it. I always spoil shows. That happens 80% of the time with me, as I will spoil something. Sometimes it's intentional though, because sometimes it's just okay, I want to know how this ends, so that way I know I'm not wasting time. But this I didn't mean to spoil, but I did. So I know how it works, and I was looking at the wiki to see how the main villain's quirk is, and it still didn't make sense to me. So if anyone wants to explain the quirk, if anyone's seen it, let me know. Anyway, we're coming to the end of the coloring, and by the end, I mean we're doing the hair, which is the part that I knew would be probably the funnest, which is something that's really actually kind of weird for me to say, because I actually don't. The hair is always usually my least favorite part to draw because it's very hard for me to look. Because I'm I need this to look like hair. I don't want it to look like clothing. So it's got to have a different texture to it. And it's always hard for me to get it right where it looks like that. Especially if the character has more thick hair like this. Like characters with Yu-Gi-Oh! It's very hard for me to draw them, color them. It's very fun because you can do it, but it's I need to make it look like hair and not like a piece of plastic. But it's so shiny, it looks like a piece of plastic. So usually I always give them a little bit more. If you take a character like Mikasa Ackerman, you can draw her hair and you can put all the shading you want in it and it looks like hair. But with characters who have this more thicker piece hair, it's always a little bit more harder. But this time it was really fun to draw. It was really nice working with the colors. And I was very much inspired by the artist Kazuho, aka Soundless Wind. I'm not sure if they have any other handles besides that, but Kazuho is the main one I know the artist by, and I was really trying to kind of go for that, where everything looks slick, smooth, shiny, but at the same time not too shiny. I didn't want anything looking sharp. I wanted to look very soft and smooth, but not too smooth. With the eyes, I totally, I was just inspired by that. And I was also inspired by the artist Natsu. I'm sorry if I already mentioned that earlier. I recorded this audio twice. I actually recorded it completely all the way through, perfectly, and I was okay, then we're done. And then I realized I'm actually not that happy with it, so I decided to re-record it again, but I forgot what I said in that video compared to this one, so if I repeated myself, that's why. Once again, I used the new line art auto function that I got from the clipstudiopaint assets. I could do this myself, to be honest, but it is so much easier with an auto function, and those things really do make it fast and stuff, and I really did like that. And then I made a sun, because why not? And then I had to put the sun in the other way, because I forgot that it needs to match up with my highlights. That happens so often with me, where it's just it's not matching up at all. And after that, I add some more sparkles, and then I finished the drawing up. And yeah, that's the drawing. I hope you liked. If you enjoyed, do all the YouTube things. If you didn't, thanks for watching this far anyway. And I will be back with another video, hopefully real soon. Next month is going to be my 10-year anniversary on YouTube. So hopefully I can do something special for that. Until then, I will see you hopefully again real soon. Bye!